Hey everyone, this is Florent and welcome back to this episode about the XRP Ledger and how to build on the XRP Ledger. So today we are going to look at Quicknode, which is a way to have your own private endpoint for the XRP Ledger, and then with this endpoint you'll be able to send transactions to the ledger. So having your endpoint actually can have like different advantages, and one of them, for example, is that your endpoint will be fully all the time accessible. And if you would use public endpoints that, for example, the XRP Ledger Foundation or Ripple is providing, potentially those endpoints could go down for like a couple of minutes sometimes, and then your business could be impacted by this. It's very unlikely, of course, but relying on public endpoints in general means that you will have to rely on the people running those endpoints. And so Quicknode here is a company that allows you to have your own private endpoint, and only you will use this endpoint, and then your business will not be, for example, impacted if multiple thousand millions of transactions are submitted to this endpoint. So again, the tutorial today is really how to create an account on Quicknode and how to create your own endpoint. So go to quicknode.com and you should see this page. And what we are going to use is the free option that they provide, which allows you to have one endpoint for free. And of course, then if you want more endpoints, you can start paying, but we'll use the free option here. So when you're back on the home page, you have this create free account button here that allows you to create the account. So I've already done it. I think if I click on it, I'll go to the no, actually I'm going directly to my dashboard because I've already had an endpoint, but if you are new to it, that should take really like 2 minutes, so it's super quick and super easy to do it. So once you're there, you see on the left side, you have a new button here, endpoint, and you can start creating new endpoint here. That's very easy. Let me show you how to do this. You create an endpoint here, and what we need to choose, of course, is the XRP Ledger. So you go at the bottom of the page, you select XRP Ledger, you click on continue. And here we have two options. One is to create an endpoint to interact with the mainnet or to interact with the testnet. And for this example, I'm going to use the testnet. So select it and click on continue. It's going to take a couple of seconds for the endpoint to be created, and we'll have after that an HTTPS and a WebSocket URL. In my demo, I'm going to use XRPL.js, which is a JavaScript SDK for the XRP Ledger. So I'm going to use the WebSocket here on the right. Just copy that. And that we are done basically with Quicknode at the moment. Now we need to use XRPL.js to use that endpoint and then submit transactions. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to another application called Run.js, which is a very nice tool to test JavaScript code. So in here I have a paid version of Run.js, and I can install NPM packages. If you don't want to pay for Run.js, you can of course create an NPM project, a node project, and that would be very, very similar to what I'm doing now. But in here, so I have some packages here, and what you need is XRPL. So I have the version 2.11 here. I won't need to upgrade for this demo. So first thing we need to have from XRPL is the client. So I'm going to just save the URL that we got from Quicknode in a constant. Okay. And then I'm going to start creating a main function that we can execute and then query the ledger. So let's call it main, and that's going to be async. And just, okay. So I'm going to create an async function, and I'm going to, well, I'll call it later actually. So first we need to initialize the client. So let's do a const client equal a new client, and we're going to pass the URL in the client. Okay. Next thing we need to do, of course, when we interact with the ledger is to connect the client. So we await client.connect. And before we write anything else, we make sure we disconnect the client at the end once we have done all the operation we need. So await client.disconnect. Now I can start querying the ledger. So let's say I'm going to create an account. I'm going to use the faucet for that. So we can use the faucet on xrpl.org. So then, yeah, on the XRP faucet UI, we can generate a new wallet, which is funded with some XRP. And in here we have 10,000 XRP. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to query the balance using the SDK. So let's take the address, for example, here, go back to run.js. And then here we can use the client. So we'll use, let's say, balances equals await client dot get balances, and we pass the address, the account address. And finally, we can just console log the balances. We need to call the function, of course. So main, and here you see we have the currency and the value appearing, which shows that the endpoint provided by Quicknode works. And again, this is your endpoint, only you is gonna use it. So you, yeah. Another thing I want to show you is how you can also submit transaction to the ledger. So let's create a payment, very simple payment. And I'm gonna use the payment type from XRPL.js. So I think I need to import it from XRPL here at the top. Here for the payment, I will need different fields. So I need an account, which is the originating account. I can pass the one I have created before. I will need an amount. So let's say 10 XRP. And I can use XRP to drops function provided again by the XRPL.js SDK. And I need, of course, to import it, XRP to drops. Let me try to actually make this bigger. Yeah. Another thing we need is the destination, so we can create a new wallet. So let's do that just after. And the last thing I think we need something else. Yeah, the transaction type. That's required for every payment, every transaction that we submit to the ledger. All right, so destination here, what we can do quickly is we can use as well the client to generate a wallet. And the way we do that is wallet, let's say wallet number 2, we await client.fund wallet. And that will generate for me a new wallet. So I'm going to take this wallet number 2 and I'm going to use the address of that wallet. So that's the first step. Then we'll need to sign and submit to the ledger. So one way to do that, very, very simple in one line. Let's say we have a response and we await the client dot submit and wait. First thing, we need to pass the payment transaction that we created above. And then we pass an object. In this object, we specify two things. First one is an autofill boolean, which basically means that we'll add a few fields to the payment transactions that I mentioned above, such as the fee, for example, which would be 12 drops typically, and a last ledger sequence to allow us to know when the transaction for sure may have failed. So it's like a buffer, let's say, for 30 seconds. If we wait 30 seconds and we know after 30 seconds that this transaction fails if it has not been included in a validated ledger. So we await, we submit and wait. And finally, we'll just, one thing we need to do as well, second option we need to pass to the object, is to pass a wallet which is going to sign the transaction. So here, what I'm going to do, remember, so I use the faucet to create an account. I'm just going to take the secret or seed as well. Sometimes we call it seed. I'm just going to create a wallet 1 with that seed. And for that, I'm going to use the wallet class provided by the XRP Ledger. So again, I need to import it from XRPL. So I can then use that wallet class, and that wallet class exposes a method called from seed. So I can create a wallet from that seed. But I could do as well like a client fund wallet again for wallet number 1. That's the same, but I just want you to show you different ways. So now we have this wallet 1, and I can pass it to the submit and wait function here. And in the end, I'm going to console log the response, and we should have the payment successful. So let's see after a couple of seconds. So we need to create a wallet, we need to wait for the transaction to get passed by the ledger. And in the end here, maybe I will reduce a bit and I'll show you on the right. So this is the response of the transaction. And the response of the transaction so includes the hash, and we can as well look at the originating account, so which is this string here. I can go to an explorer and we'll look at the transaction that we just made of 10 XRP. So one explorer is, for example, testnet.xrpl.org. We go there, we type the address of the originating account, and we can see here that we have 10 XRP which have been sent. And sometimes, so run.js, what it does is every time I do I type something, it will rerun the code, and this is why we may see multiple payments here. So you have first one 10 XRP, 10 XRP, and because I just clicked on space in run.js, if I refresh the page, I think I will see another payment happening here. Yeah, you see 10 XRP. So this is it. That's what I wanted to show you about Quicknode and how you can easily set up an endpoint and then use that endpoint to do anything you really want on the XRP ledger. Thank you everyone. I hope that was useful. Bye. See you for the next session.